Okay, so we did an overview of inequality yesterday, right? And so today I want you to be able to see how you can actually use that skill to solve a word problem such as this. But please understand that whenever you start thinking about having multiple answers, we cannot have an equation because an equation usually only have an equation only has one specified answer, right? For inequality, however, you will most likely will have multiple answers. So talking like infinitely many. So for this particular one right here, let's kind of read it and see what this problem asks you to do. The annual membership to the San Diego Zoo for 2 adults and 2 children is $128.
Whoa.
Now, we understand about what annual memberships mean, right? It's like your season pass kind of deal. So to get 2 adults and 2 children to this park, this zoo, you just have to pay $128 for all 4 people. So pretty cheap deal. The regular admission, now what does it mean to say regular admission? This is like the day-to-day pass. You know, when you go, you feel like going that day, you have to pay this amount. So it's shown in the table. For one adult, it costs $19.50, which is almost 20 bucks. And for one child, it's $11.75 for one child. Okay, here's the questions. And like I said, 99% of the time when you read that last questions, it will probably help you determine, well, how many variables should I define, right? So let me read this to you clearly and see if you can actually help me define the variables. How many times should such a family plan to visit the zoo in a year to make a membership less expensive than paying regular admission? So in this case, what do you think we should declare?
X equals the amount of times they go.
Very good. X equals to the number of times that you're going to be going to the zoo, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and write that first. I'm going to declare X is the numbers of times you're going to the zoo. Okay, there it is. Simple enough. So I know exactly what X stands for. X is the number of times you're going for this year. You don't know yet, right? That's why we're trying to find out. But we also need to calculate something here. This table right here represents the regular admission price per adult. So how many adults do we have going? 2. So based on the information, we know we have 2 adults, and we know that each adult's paying $19.50. So how do we find the total cost of 2 adults? What do we do?
Times it.
Times it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and multiply that. What do we end up with 2 adults for $19.50 each? 39 bucks. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and write that down. $39 for 2 adults. What about 2 children? How much do you think that would cost? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and times it. That will give us how much? $23.50. Okay, $23.50. So I'm going to go ahead and add these 2 up, and that would be a grand total of how much? $62.50. Now this here is the one-day price for 4 people. Is that true? So I'm just going to, so this is the regular. Regular admission cost. So notice I'm writing down some notes as well so I understand what does it mean to pay the regular admission for all 4 people at the same time going to this zoo, $62.50. At least now you can kind of think in your head, well, if that cost me $62.50 for one day, what if I want to go like 2 times this year? Is it actually better to buy the season pass, or is it better to still go with the day pass? Think about this. The season pass will cost you $128. But if you just buy 2 times of this price, at this price, if you go 2 times, how much would that be?
Let's check.
So technically, is it still cheaper than the season pass? So you can kind of see that if you go 2 times or less, the day pass is still a cheaper deal. You save how much? Not a lot, but how much? About $3, right? $125, $128. So it's still a better deal if you go just 2 times or less. This question, the problem asks, how many times should such a family plan to visit the zoo in a year to make the membership, here you go, this is the annual membership, less expensive than paying the regular admission? So right now we have 2 things to compare. We have the regular, if I can spell this correctly, perhaps I'm using a different color too. Here we go. So on one side we have regular admissions, right? On the other side, we're comparing the membership, the annual membership. Is that true? So this is the annual annual membership. For the annual membership, we know it costs $128. Is that right?
Yeah.
For the regular admissions, how much does it cost each time? $62.50. But this is only one time, right? So we're trying to find out how many more times we have to go to make this less than that. So in this case, then we already declare X to be the number of times we plan to go. So what do you think we should do with the X?
Times it.
Times it by what?
62.
By 60. Right, very good.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to just go ahead and times it by X. So this represents the cost, the total cost of money you have to pay for this number of times that you can be going to the zoo, right? And look at this question again. It says, I want to make my membership here less expensive. Less expensive means this one costs less than the regular, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what should you put in between here to
Equals.
represent that this is
Greater
less than the other
Oh,
one?
that one.
Where's the mouth facing? Which value should
The
it
left
be?
one.
62.50.
Just tell me where.
62.50.
So you're telling me that this is it, right?
Oh.
So is that true? The mouth facing this one? Think about it. Is 128 less than that? Is that what you want?
Yes.
Yes, that's what you want. Membership less expensive than regular savings. Membership less expensive than regular admission. See? We follow the exact problem. So now how do we solve this? How do we solve for X? Divided by. Very good. 62.50. 62.50. I know you kind of guessed already, but if you solve for this, it will give you about what? 62.5 goes into 128 how many times?
Two.
2 times. So it's roughly about 2.0, if I round it,
Three.
about 0.5 or something. Okay? So we know we cannot go 2.05 times, either 1 time, 2 times, or 3 times, right? So let's think about this. The number of times you have to go has to be greater than 2.05 times. So in this case, to make it a bargain, how many times do you have to go at a minimum? 3 times. There you go. So if you go, you say you need to go 3 or more times, right? To make it a bargain, which makes sense. Think about this. If you go in 3 times, how much are you paying here? Like $180, which is way more than 128 that you have to pay for this annual pass, which you can go like 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, whatever, right? So there it is. And this is how we actually set up the problem and figure it out. But as you can see, all the problems that I gave you, all the prompts, you can actually try to plan it out in your head if you want to. Just work out the problems, figure it out, and go back and come up with an inequality to represent this. And all the keywords from the problem, you should pay close attention to, like the word less expensive. You know, less means you have to use certain symbol. More than, at least, at most. Things like that you've got to pay attention for when you have a problem like this. And there are certainly more prompts for you to look at over the break. Please feel free to look at them before you come back, okay?
Well, that's it. Okay.